Welcome back, everybody. This is Nazdarachi with 59Gaming coming at you today with another video. This time we will be talking about Dragon Ball FighterZ. As an avid fighting game fan myself, we are left with a few questions now that it seems that the lifespan of the game might be ending in terms of its, official new release launch cycle. So we're going to talk about some of that, what we expect for the future in the game. But before I get too ahead of myself, I am joined today by, of course, three other FighterZ players. We have Rhymestyle in the chat. Why don't you go ahead, say hello, and just give like a 10-second backstory of what your opinions on FighterZ are. How much do you love this game?
I think this is one of the best fighting games. What actually? No, that's correct. One of the best fighting games of all time, and obviously one of the best Dragon Ball games of all time. So I'm here for it. This is the game that I've wanted since I was like 12.
I actually agree with that statement. As someone coming from a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 background, I played a majority of that. This game is honestly like the best spiritual successor to that game.
You could see it. You could see it in my face cam, my background. I literally got a Marvel machine right there.
I want one of those. As soon as I can afford one, I'm getting one.
It's got online too.
Oh, you can play. What is it? Just basically got like a PlayStation or something installed inside it?
No, it's one of those arcade one-ups, and it's got Marvel 1. It's not Marvel 2, unfortunately. It's got Marvel 1. It's got all the Versus series, so it's like Marvel vs. Street Fighter versus X-Men. It's got a couple arcade games as well. It's pretty fun. But the thing that sold me on is the fact that it had online, and it's got really good netcode too, which is crazy.
Nice. I want one. I definitely will be getting one. But also joining us, we have Mr. Kensei here. He is also someone that I personally have played against in FighterZ, so I know that he's invested. What are your 10-second thoughts on the game right now? How much do you love it?
It is like the best game ever. It's like one of the best looking games ever for sure for a fighting game. The only thing that I only wish that this game had is the robot netcode from what's it called again that they're coming up with the fighting
Strive.
game? I think it's like Guilty Gear Strive.
Yeah, Strive.
Yep. So hopefully in the future they either update the robot netcode, or they're gonna make a brand new game. So I can't wait until what are they gonna do with the future of Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Yeah, that's actually probably one of our points of discussion here. And then before we move on to that stuff, we also have Trueforia in the chat. How are you doing today, and what is your 10-second assessment of the game before we dive in deeper?
Hello, I'm doing pretty good. And honestly, it's I agree with Kensei and Rhyme. It's one of the best fighting games and Dragon Ball games for sure. It is so addicting. It honestly is just so ridiculous. Other fighting games, I don't know. But this one, it really holds me there. You know what I mean? That and Smash. But
I can agree. Yeah. I think ArcSys as a company in general pumps out some pretty high quality products in terms of fighting games. But if you're not attached to the Guilty Gear franchise because you don't have that childhood nostalgia of just loving Dragon Ball your entire life, then this one definitely serves a much bigger audience than some of their characters that are OCs, right? Original characters that they've made. But with that in mind, we're going to start our assessment of everything FighterZ here. The first thing we wanted to talk about is, of course, we did have that Dragon Ball Battle Hour, the 3 different tournaments, of which FighterZ was one of the main 3 going on. That's where they initially teased Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, who I think all 4 of us here in chat have had a good bit of time to play test and have some fun with. Yeah. But that is also the last character in the season pass that's going on right now, the season pass 3, I do believe. Forgive me if I'm wrong, because I buy all my characters individually. But normally around this time frame, Rhyme, correct me if I'm wrong, but wouldn't they, like in terms of 2019, 2020, wouldn't right now have been the time they would have announced a new season pass if it was going to be in existence?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the one issue we have is obviously the virus, which basically slow down the entire world. So we all expect it, because that's what they've been doing for like the last couple of seasons. They dropped the last character and then boom, next season. And a lot of us were expecting to announce season 4. Now that's not to say season 4 isn't happening, because when they didn't do that, the immediate response of the community was, oh, well, that's it. Well, I guess Strive is gonna be the big focus because that's the next game that ArcSys is dropping. But honestly, I don't think it's over. It's not over. They wouldn't just look, Xenoverse, granted, it's not like a fighting game. Xenoverse has been going on since 2016, and it's still getting more DLC. I'm sure they'll figure out something, maybe they'll do another one of these Dragon Ball events in the near future, centered around maybe fighters, and then maybe they'll announce the next season that way. I don't think it's over.
I'm kind of right there with you. Like, if you know, I saw some posts circulating on Twitter where like people were showing the entire roster, and they're like, "Look, it's ripe for 5 more characters because that would make it an even, an even square, an even amount of characters." Because it looked like the way everyone was arranging it, it lined up with those 5 empty spaces right there, and there's still plenty of characters they could pull from. What do you think? Either Kensei or True Forage, feel free to hop in. What do you think? Do you think there is going to be more characters, another season pass, or do you think that they are going to kind of go in a different direction? And maybe from all 3 of you, what are some of the characters you think would be good introductions if they do announce a new season pass?
Okay, I'll definitely say that they are going to continue, but it's like at this time, since like the Guilty Gear Strive just came out, that's like their main focus at this moment. So like they could potentially be working on Fighters 2 potentially to implement this rollback netcode, which we all want for this game. Which that's the only issue that I have with this game personally, because I can't really play the game if I'm like having like delay, like frame delay for like 10, 12, if I'm facing somebody like somewhere in China or somewhere. And it's like, I mean, they could potentially give us like season 4 maybe down the line, but at this moment it seems like a good time for them to actually start developing Fighters 2 in the near future for sure. So that way, so they can like fix like the mistakes, like the online matches, the making matches, all that stuff. So like potentially in the future they should actually start like developing like the next game for sure.
Now, Rhyme, I don't know if you have any, before we move on to Truforia's answer, I don't know if you have any inside information or not even inside, but do we have like any insight into whether, I mean, for Strive, that's the separate team working on that,
So
or is they borrowing some of the
that's-
same people?
That's something that's important to establish. Is a lot of people assume because they're releasing Strive, then they can't update or do more stuff for Dragon Ball, which isn't necessarily the case. I mean, I don't know how their team breaks down, how much of the teams actually cross over in both of those games, but in the past they have released multiple games before. They have Blaze Blue and Guilty Gear, and now obviously they introduced Dragon Ball as well. I don't know if we can expect the Fighters 2 so soon, because the thing is like, if you look at fighting games, the history of fighting games is sequels take forever to come out. Street Fighter 4 came out like 2007, and Street Fighter 5 came out like 2012, 2013, 14, something like that. Like it takes a long time for the next game to come out, and the reason why they do that is because they drop the game, they kind of like work on balancing the game out, patching it, X, Y, and Z, yada yada yada. What I don't think we can see a Fighters 2, but I can see a situation where they do something like Fighters like Z, or Fighters like because you know how Guilty Gear had XR and Rev. Like they can do like a next version of the game. It's still Fighters 1, but like the next version of it, or like a Dragon Ball Fighters Ultimate or something. Like they could do something like that.
Referencing Street Fighter directly, like that's something that they're notorious for doing, where they'll do like the Ultimate Edition or the Tournament Edition, and it's just basically the same game re-released with maybe some, polished upgrades to UI and graphic stuff here and there, but otherwise it just includes all the DLC rosters in the base game, right?
And I think the big thing they would do with that is potentially work on the netcode, because like I said, they know that everybody wants it. But then the other question is, what else do you do? Do you introduce new game mechanics? Do you give people more moves? Do you give them more assists? It's something for them to figure out, and I feel like it's not going to happen overnight. So that's why I feel like they're probably better off working on like a season 4 while they in the background work on this, whether it be a sequel or like the next version of Fighters. But it can be definitely one of those things that they work simultaneously on.
Yeah, I agree. They could just have 2 different departments, because realistically, they probably, that's how it breaks down anyway. Like the designers and stuff, so the ones that are making characters aren't the same people that are designing the network infrastructure for the game and whatnot. So they should, and hopefully are, working simultaneously. Trueforia, assuming if there was like a season 4, what a couple characters do you think you'd like to see in it? Assuming, hypothetically that they were to announce one. And what would you prioritize, new characters or the netcode itself? We'll give you that 2-parter there.
Ooh. Wow, that's a good one. I think they're going to have to do both. Well, they don't have to do both. I think what they would prioritize are the characters. I think they just want to like bring the hype and make the money. But there is a lot of talk for the better netcode, so that is a good one. But I really do think they're done with making characters though, and why I say that is because if you look at the character screen, I know you brought it up earlier, but Gogeta has his own little border, right? His looks different than everyone else's, and he's like right in the middle.
Yeah, it's like the shape of Vision's Infinity Mind Stone almost that we saw in Scarlet WandaVision and whatnot.
Yeah, so I think they might be just done. And his moves, right? Summoning Shenron and the level 7.
He does everything.
Yeah.
They literally gave him a little bit of everything. Like, he's got Frieza's double dash. He's got Bardock's lariat. He can summon Shenron. He can one-shot you. So basically, he's got Andro 16's insta-kill. Like, he's got everything.
Yep. I think, yeah.
Yeah, I think his only downfall, even if you want to call it that, is besides his level 3 super, he doesn't have any beam attacks.
Yeah, he has no long-range options. He's got to be a bit more. But the thing is even that, I still think he's got one of the best 2S's in the game. The eye glare beam.
Oh yeah.
Or not even a beam, but the key attack. It's so good. It tracks too.
It just tracks. Yep. Like if you're above him, it'll shoot down. If you're below him, it'll hit up. Like that's an amazing short range move right there. And it comes out so fast too. It's hard to avoid.
Yeah.
But what are a couple characters you think, hypothetically, I know you don't think it's coming, but what are like 2 characters you think and this could be everyone that answers, it's true for you started. What are 2 characters you think they either missed the boat on not adding, or that they still should consider adding for season 4? We'll just go around the wheel. Start with you, True.
Boy.
2 characters.
Who did they miss, huh? I feel like they got everyone super major. I mean, they could go to the movies. Like maybe some movie characters like Garlic. No, I'm just kidding. No, Bio Broly. Bio Broly.
Bio Broly?
No, but really, I that's a good one. I just want like transformations. You know what I mean? I think that would be better, but that'll never happen. So I really don't know. Who do you guys think?
What about you, Kensei? Here's 2 characters you think they missed the boat on, maybe not including, or could still include, you'd really like to see.
I would say I want a couple of characters to come in. I want a Raditz. I want a Raditz to come in.
Okay, that's
I know that Raditz is not really popular as he is, but like he would have been a really good fighter for sure. Definitely a really good fit for fighters. And also Pycon. I know that he's been memed a lot as of recent, but Pycon actually seems like a really good candidate too as well to join into fighters. Another one I could say is Turles. Turles is a really another one that could come as well. And hopefully in the future they bring Turles because he seems really good.
That is a good one.
Yep.
What about you, Ron? What are 2 characters you think they may have missed or neglected that you'd like to see have been in the game, or maybe could still be added?
The first one that immediately comes to mind is Majin Vegeta. It's like looking at the game, a lot of people will always make fun of it for the 20 Gokus that they release. But the thing that Arxis does really well is every character stands out and is different. That's why even if they were to do Raditz, I don't care about Raditz, but I know Arxis will make that character fun. He's got definitely movesets that could be annoying depending on how they do it. So any character that they release could be fun. And somebody actually on Twitter the other day said, if you guys played Guilty Gear, you know how they have Faust, and Faust has had those like random attacks that he had in like Xrd. What you could do is you could even do something silly like a Mech Bulma or even like a Hercule and give him like a random surprise. Because you know how in the past in the Budokai games he's had like the presents.
Yeah.
You could have something like that where he throws out a present, and every time a present is always like a random attack, like how Faust was. Or have a Mech Bulma with like the capsules, and every capsule is a different attack. Like you can do a lot of fun stuff with. You can do a lot of fun stuff with that. But the big one for me is Majin Vegeta, just because of all the Vegetas that exist, he was by far one of the most unique. He's got the final explosion. He's had a very, very brutal fight style. He was probably like the one character I feel like got shafted for not being in the game.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, and then just to throw out my 2, because I was thinking about my answer while y'all were talking. I mean, I like pretty much all y'all's answers too, but my 2 would be a playable version of Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Like, I know we have Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, but he's not really my favorite. And I know the Super Saiyan Goku has those couple of frames where he transforms into Super Saiyan 3, either the kid version or the default vanilla day 1 Super Saiyan Goku. But there's no playable version of him, so I think that would be really cool. And to give some balance, because we already gave Goku that Super Saiyan 3 for me, I'd like a Super Saiyan God, like the red-haired version of Vegeta, I think.
Yep.
Because there's no representation for that form in the game at all.
True.
So I think that would be kind of neat there as well. And they could maybe tie him in with the DBS Broly moveset a little bit too, since that was his, the only time he really used it, besides the manga, right, I guess. So
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
well, we already know that no season pass was announced. We've already covered that quite extensively here. But do you think that they actually have any plans to end the support for the game altogether and just kind of start moving on to other projects? Or do you think they'll always have kind of even a small team that they're going to dedicate to this? And how long do you think this game's lifespan is if they don't announce any fresh content for it? I guess we'll start with Rhyme on that.
Well, they answered that already on the stream. They said that they were still going to do patches and stuff. That's why I'm confident that they're not going to, just outright finish the support in the game. Like, they'll still drop patches. They'll still figure out, when stuff is busted, potentially buff characters, which I feel like, this game needs way more buffs than nerfs.
Yeah.
Goku Black.
Yeah, Goku Black. Maybe one day they'll release Frieza into the game as well. Like, there's a lot they can do with the game, but they already addressed that they will keep doing that. I honestly feel like, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I feel like there was a bit of pressure for every game that's kind of out right now to announce something at Dragon Ball Hour. Because if you notice, even when they announced Dokkan stuff, they couldn't really even say anything. And the reason why is because Dokkan was doing their Dokkan Now, which I believe will be airing today at the time we're recording this, or in the next day or so, whatever.
Yeah.
So I feel like because of the schedule of when Dragon Ball Hour actually aired, every company was like, hey, you got to do something. And it's like, well, we're not ready to announce something yet. So I guess we'll just do this and call it a day. So I feel like, that's why I feel like we're going to have some kind of event maybe later this summer, maybe once COVID kind of like calms down and, people get vaccinated, maybe like the offline tournaments return. At that point, we'll get the actual next big announcement for the game.
Right.
Yeah, all of that makes sense too. It gives them a little bit of time to let things simmer, and then boom, they can come back, and that keeps the game periodically refreshed in people's minds, as opposed to them announcing everything all at once and then allowing people to kind of slowly forget about it.
Yeah.
Truforia, assuming like no other season pass, no other characters would ever come out, how long do you think this game's lifespan would continue, just based off of just the content we have now and nothing new coming out? Assuming they still continue to, support it behind the scenes, like Rhyme just said, and like they said they would. Like, how long do you think it could last?
I mean,
how long would you be interested in playing it, assuming there was a healthy enough online population?
for a long time, I think, because it's still solid and everything. It's still a great game, even if it gets stale. I don't know. At least years, right? I mean, if because the fighting game community keeps games alive for a long, long time. So I think, for years, I'm sure. I would keep playing.
And then, I mean, I'm pretty much in the same boat. With a fighting game like this, since the core experience is very repetitive, and for me, that's a good thing. Like, I like this competitive, repetition, but that's always a game you can pick up and play. Even if you get sick of it, you can put it down for a little bit. But since the experience is pretty enjoyable and it's always consistent, assuming the internet connections are good enough, then it kind of is something that could last indefinitely. I don't know. Would you agree with that, Rhyme and Kensei?
I would. I mean, again, look at Xenoverse. There's still videos being made on that game. The community super supports it. And, a lot of people will meme Xenoverse, why are they still supporting that dead game? That dead game has over 1 million players still.
Yeah.
Over 1 million players for a game that came out in 2016 and originally came out in 2015 with the first version of the game. So, if Xenoverse is still being played, FighterZ is definitely still being played.
Yeah.
You also got the community is also what keeps these games alive too, because in the fighter side, you got the tournaments that happen every so often. There's a lot of people out there that are just organize a lot of fun stuff around it. You got the content creators on YouTube. You got even just people who are literally making Discords, building communities around just characters. This game is far from over, far from dead, and it's going to keep thriving for a very, very long time.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I could agree with that, especially if I don't know if they have already, I'm assuming they did, but announced it's getting touched up for the PS5, and if you already own it on PS4, you can port it over, and I would assume that would hopefully bridge the gap and potentially bring in, because what I heard that the PS5 sales were pretty insane, especially compared to the new Xbox, so if they do offer a transition like that, maybe there's even a bunch of new players they could pull in somehow.
Yeah.
Clever marketing and whatnot.
Yep.
Well, do you think, and this is just kind of an open question for anyone, do you think they've already started working on Fighters 2, or do you think that's something that's still in the works? No, you answer pretty quickly.
I don't think so. Again, the thing about these games is they don't, for actual fighting games, you don't get fighting games that fast. I mean, I'm sure somebody in the comments will know that one game that came out real fast, like for actual fighting games. I'm not talking about Xenoverse releasing Xenoverse 2 after like 9 months. I'm talking about actual fighting games. I mean, usually it takes a long time for sequels to come out, and it will be just way too soon. Like I still think they're trying to figure out what they even want to do, because like you can't just drop Fighters as Fighters 2 and the only difference is just netcode changes. Like you gotta completely change stuff around.
Yeah. Yep.
So I don't think we're gonna get that anytime soon.
And with that in mind, that question, do you think that they are going to proceed, and that this could be in an indefinite amount of time, but do you think that ArcSys is going to continue to work with the Dragon Ball IP? Do you think they're going to try to maintain it, hold on to it? Like, will there be a Dragon Ball Fighters 2? Like, what do you think ArcSys' future involvement with the Dragon Ball IP is going to be? I mean, it's hard to read the future, but if you were to guess, what would you say? And that's just an open question for anybody.
Well, I don't see why they'd get rid of it. You know what I mean? Well, I can see them like working on other stuff, but like I think Fighters like brought a lot more attention to ArcSys as well, because it's just Dragon Ball. So I don't know. It seems like a cash cow to me. Like I don't know why they'd give it up. So I'm sure 2 will come, but way down the line, like Rhyme said. So yep, that's what I think.
And this isn't actually a question that was on our outline, but this is just something that I wanted to throw out for everyone as well, because we know that Bandai is contractually obligated to make a brand new Dragon Ball game every year to maintain their exclusive content authority with Toei and Shueisha with the Dragon Ball IP. What do you think might be coming for this year? And do you think we'll get a teaser for something anytime soon? Or do you think that COVID may have delayed all that? Like, what are y'all's thoughts? Well, like, I was kind of expecting almost at the battle hour for them to announce something new, but I guess that we missed that there.
Yeah. I think that, so people have been assuming this for a while, which it was the case a couple of years ago, but I think it's changed the way their license agreement is. I don't know like the details, but if you notice that they've been a lot more lenient about how they've been releasing stuff in the past couple of years. I don't think they have a contractual obligation to release an annual game anymore. And on top of that, they don't really have any competition. Like I know people are like, well, you know, so-and-so could make it. But yeah, well, Bandai owns it. On top of that, the way Japan usually operates is kind of on like a trust. They built a lot of trust with Bandai bases type of thing. So like, it's not really one of those situations where they're going to be like, we know what so-and-so can make more money, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who makes the Dragon Ball game. It's still going to print money. So I think like Bandai is just always going to have the license for it, regardless if they drop a game annually or not.
So it's more so now like, instead of having to produce that mandatory game a year, it's just more so like they look at the numbers on paper and they're like, oh, well, we're in the green. Everything's green. We're looking good. So just keep doing what you're doing, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like with all the Dokkan now getting to like what year 6, 7 almost, and you know everything's kind of maintaining and pulling in some pretty solid revenue, I guess, consistently. I guess they can have some more room to prioritize their currently existing projects as opposed to being forced to keep pumping them out in a sense. Yeah, that makes sense too. I still hope we do get an announcement for another game. I mean, maybe something, even if it's something simple, like, or do you think, also this is kind of more directed towards Rhyme, do you think the Card Warriors mode inside of Kakarot might have been kind of like a test for something bigger they may have been planning for the future? Or do you think that that's just kind of a self-contained freebie?
I don't think they know what they were doing with the Kakarot, so they were just kind of experimenting. Because Kakarot was the first Dragon Ball game in as long as I can remember. It's probably Fusion's had multiplayer too. Dragon Ball Kakarot was one of the first Dragon Ball games in a very, very long time that didn't have multiplayer. So they were just trying to figure out something else to add as far as longevity. Because like end of the day, like what keeps these games going in the long run is the people that come back to and play it daily. You're not really gonna be like the average player is not gonna keep coming back to Kakarot every day and just keep replaying it. Like when you're at work or at school, whatever, and you think, man, I can't wait to get on and play Fighters. That's the thing. Can't wait to get on and play Xenoverse. That's the thing. No one plays Kakarot 10,000 times and just like, yeah, I can't wait to get home and play Kakarot again. No, you play it like once, maybe twice, maybe 3 times, but no one like stands that game in regards to how often you play it.
Yeah.
And if you do, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, like, longevity comes down to multiplayer, which is why they did the Card Warrior stuff. And by the way, the Card Warrior is incredibly fun.
It is.
I would have loved that to
Yes.
be a separate game.
Me too.
I agree as well. I wish it had a mobile app like portal to it, and you could just play it,
Yep.
buy the cards,
Yeah.
kind of like Hearthstone or Magic: The Gathering, something like that.
Yeah, because
Yep.
the downside is no one plays.
Yeah,
Like,
it's rough. And then when they do updates, and the server will be down for like 2 days
Yep.
and stuff like that.
And it also
It
took
definitely
way
has its
too long
kinks.
to drop the cards, too. I mean, they announced a new card pack back in, like, what, November? And it came out now in March. Like,
Oh, my.
like, bro.
Yeah.
For a game like that, you definitely got to add more, releases. But again, to be fair, we are in a global pandemic. That's something people have to understand. It's like, it's really hard to work when the entire world is shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah, even just like Magic or Pokemon, there's some, I would assume, fairly significant development time that needs to go into any card game like that, because you need to balance the cards, get the card art, stat them up properly, play test it a little bit. So it's not just like they can just throw them out left and right. There's a lot of planning that goes into making an entire set of cards for a card game.
Right.
But yeah, I guess any closing thoughts from anyone about fighters specifically? I mean, is there any thoughts? I mean, we all know how bad the netcode is and how much we want them to focus that, but is there anything else that you'd like to say, positive, negative?
I have one that I want to talk about, and this is something that's been kind of like the topic in the past 3 weeks since the character was first announced, is the balance of the character. He can do literally everything. Is he actually broken? And honestly, I'm going to tell you this, I think he's actually pretty fair.
Yeah.
The level 7 mechanic is bullshit, and it's very easy to do. The first day when the game came out, I played with one of the pros, and we tested 2 fights where we were just basically used it as the A assist, and it was very easy to do. And then the second fight, we used the B assist, where we didn't have the ease of just basically pumping up his levels. But even then, like, what we noticed is we were more focused around playing. But then when we stopped recording and went back to basically using B assist and just kind of were fighting for fun, we were still actually actively pulling up the level 7. So it's like, I think the level 7 itself, it is kind of snapped.
Yeah.
But the character himself is
Yeah.
he is very balanced. I would say he's not super top tier, but he's probably somewhere in the middle. Because again, the big thing that he's gonna lack end of the day is gonna be that neutral. Because like when you have no long range options, you're gonna get outplayed most of the time, especially if it comes down to you being as an anchor character, which is gonna be awful. Basically, what people need to do is just learn the matchup right now. If you see Gogeta on someone's team, kill him first. Just kill him first, especially if they
definitely for
if
sure.
they have the A assist equipped. Just kill him first.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think the guy's best team is? Who do you run them with generally?
Me, I'm not all about optimal. So he actually does not fit on my team at all, but it works. I actually use UI Goku, Beerus, and Gogeta, and he works. But what you want to ideally use him with is characters that have beam assist, because at that point you can kind of get the cover.
Yeah.
Anytime you get, even if you switch over into him and you're using him as the main character, just do a knockdown, do the finish sign, toss out an assist, do a finish sign, toss out an assist, finish sign. You can build that level 7 real fast if you have long range option. But like with me, my assists are right now, I have Beerus's A, which is just him kicking the orb, which is terrible for trying to like get a finish sign off. And the other one is I'm still using UI Goku's A, which is absolutely god awful now. His B assist also sucks. So I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with UI, but for now I am still kind of using the A assist.
Right.
Yeah, those beam ones do allow him to get those relaunches in, and then he can just combo for days. But who do you run them with, Kensei? What's your favorite teams for Gogeta?
For Gogeta, I just use them with UI Goku and Z Broly. That's like my main team there. I'm using top tier team, clearly. Because Broly, I think right now Z Broly is like the king of spiders right now. Because like they never touch him at all. Like he still got everything. You can just use like your key stuff. So like with him, like with Broly and Gogeta, you can do a lot of things. Like you can build up your taunt to level 7 faster. And with UI Goku, I mean he got nerfed, but like he's still really good. I don't think he's like the best anymore. But you can still use him as your anchor. To like for backup pretty much. Is like so far I'm having fun with Gogeta a lot. He's actually really, really fun.
And yeah, what about you, True for you?
I usually run DBS Broly and Gogeta, and then Jiren as the anchor.
Jiren.
Yep. So you got 2 counter people.
Yeah, he's crazy with those counters now, like Jiren. And yeah, Gogeta, he can pull off some pretty rude counters too. I think that might almost be the most fun part about him. Like him and UI Goku, I love doing counters with.
Oh yeah,
it's so satisfying. But yeah, any other closing thoughts from anybody? I mean, hopefully they're working on the net code. We can't really know exactly what their plans and their intentions are doing, but I think we covered most of the options and the potential outcomes in this video here today. I mean, I still have a positive outlook on the game, but you know, I kind of am the type of person that'll put it down for a little bit, pick it back up, and you know, that keeps me from getting too overly frustrated with it. Yeah. But I guess if anyone else has any closing thoughts, now would be the great time to spit them out.
I would say one thing is that hopefully near the future, I think around like August, we usually get like the biggest event for fighting games, which is Evo. I don't know if it's gonna happen this year.
Well,
but...
Evo got canceled.
Yeah,
like it got not like canceled as it's shut. It's got canceled. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if Evo's ever gonna come back.
Probably not. So, but hopefully.
Yeah.
But
it sucks because it was one thing that, you know, fighting game fans always look forward to every single year. So like, what's going to replace Evo? Not to say Evo was the only one. You used to have a lot of other events like Combo Breaker and stuff like that. But like, what's going to be the next big replacement for Evo? We don't know yet.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, we're not for sure yet. But hopefully,
something in the power vacuum will have to rise and take its place. Hopefully, I mean, all the organizers that want to put something together, hopefully, can come together and do something. I mean, even in the meantime, that Battle Hour event was one of the most fun things that's happened in all of 2021. Like, I really enjoyed that. Even if it's up to Bandai, I hope they can facilitate some fun events like that just to keep us entertained.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Actually, I really like the integration of the little lobby, like the Xenoverse style lobby app.
Yeah, that was cool. That was very cool.
Yeah, it could definitely use some polish, maybe some moderation in the chat so they don't have any more oopsies like they did on their live stream. But outside of that, it was a pretty wholesome experience, I think. So
yeah.
But yeah, I think we've covered everything that we could possibly theorize with the immediate future of fighters and, you know, what directions it could go, be it a sequel or an ultimate version or just them doubling down on working on back-end stuff, quality of life, and network issues. Hopefully it's all of the above, because I'd love to see a bright future for this franchise with ArcSys helming the wheel, but that's about it for this video, I think. I want to give thanks out to Rhymestyle especially for marking his busy schedule to come join us over here. So we definitely appreciate you coming out. And hopefully we can get you all on again. And as well,
thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, dude. Every time I've recorded videos with Now You, it's been a lot of fun. So very knowledgeable and good at holding a back and forth discussion. So it's been very pleasurable. But I don't want to kiss too much booty over here, so we're going to say thanks as well to Kensei and Truforia as well, trying to get a nice little fighting game crew going on over here at 5-9, so it's been extremely nice having them as participants as well. I mean, I know... One final question. What do you guys ultimately think is better, or at least more fun to play? Because better, that might be too inflammatory. Do you enjoy playing Fighters more, or Smash Ultimate? A final little round robin here.
I'll say Fighters. Definitely Fighters.
It depends on the crowd, I think. I know that sounds weird, but I like them both like so much.
I mean, liking them both the same is a valid answer.
Okay. I'm gonna put that there.
People's feel for it.
I don't want to get flamed. Okay.
Don't get flamed.
And how about you, Rhyme? I don't know how much you play Smash. I know you're a big Mewtwo fan, but what would you say overall?
Considering I play Smash maybe like once a year for like an hour on stream with Mewtwo only, and then I go back to other games. So I would say Fighters definitely.
I was about to say I can almost guarantee.
Not to say I don't like Smash. Smash is one of those games where if I'm in a mood to play Smash, I'm so into that game.
Yeah.
But then it's like I never get into that mood unless like I got friends who are like, hey, you want to play? Oh yeah, let's play a couple rounds. The next thing I know, like hours passed. Like I love Smash. I just prefer playing Fighters more.
Yeah, full disclaimer, that was just a personal preference question, not a which game is better question. That was just for the audience there. So we're not throwing any shade at either one. But I'm kind of the same way. I definitely have way more hours on Fighters because it's more that Marvel vs. Capcom spiritual successor where, Marvel vs. Capcom Ultimate didn't really fill the void. But again, for 5-9 and for Rhyme, Kensei, and Truforia, we appreciate all y'all who checked out the video. We strongly recommend that you check out Rhymestyle if you haven't already subscribed to him on Twitter. We need to get him now to 2 million since he's gotten over 1. And then I do believe Kensei, you're on YouTube as well. You go check out Kensei. And Truforia, I know he's an avid 5-9 creator. I know he's on Twitch, but did you have anything that you wanted to plug yourself?
I mean,
here at the end?
I do have a little YouTube too. If you want to go check it out, sure, why not?
Yeah, everything that we just mentioned is going to be linked down in the description. So you'll be able to check out each individual creator. Hopefully you also go check all of us out on Twitter also, because we all have lots of fun, nice stuff to say. And I think pretty much we're all active over there. It's a good place to keep informed and to kind of chat with some of your favorite creators. So again, this is Nazdarachi with 5-9. We appreciate you coming. If you're new around here, consider subscribing if you haven't already. Hit that little notification bell so that we can see you again on all of our future uploads. And if you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a thumbs up on it. And with that being said, I'm sure 5-9 will be back later today or tomorrow with something new and fresh for you. And we'll also keep you up to date on all things fighting games as we continue to build a brand around that as well. So hopefully we'll see you soon. And peace out for now, everybody.